Clark County Today is presented by Connell Real Estate. Hire an agent, get a team. Learn more by visiting connellrealestate.com.
Hey everyone, Chris Brown here with your Thursday edition of the ClarkCountyToday.com video update. Well, the death toll from COVID-19 in Clark County climbed by 2 since yesterday. The latest victims were a man in his 70s and a woman in her 80s, both with underlying health conditions. They become the 58th and 59th people to die with COVID in Clark County. Another 35 tests came back positive since yesterday, bringing the total number of cases to 3,509. Clark County Public Health says there are currently 142 cases considered active, with 27 people hospitalized with a confirmed case. Another 8 are in the hospital with a presumed case. Vancouver City Councilors talked during their meeting this week about a plan to help solve the homelessness issue in and around Leverage Park, less than a week after 2 council members toured the area with concerned neighbors. That plan, which would be in 2 phases, will start by making contact with the homeless in the area, advising them that Leverage Park is not a city-sanctioned safe zone and camping there is not allowed. The second phase will create a safe environment for volunteers to conduct a major cleanup operation in the area. Last week, Clark County Today was allowed to tag along with City Council members Bart Hansen and Sarah Fox to document the situation at the park near SR 500 and I-5. One abandoned campsite just a few feet off the Ellen Davis Trail was full of trash and discarded hypodermic needles. The city said it expected that first contact with the homeless could be done this week. For more on the update regarding Leverage Park, see our story at ClarkCountyToday.com. Meanwhile, the budget situation for Vancouver is looking up. This week, City Council heard an update on the upcoming budget process for the 2021-22 biennium. Last May, the city froze hiring and took other steps to address what they expected would be a $45 to $60 million budget hole. Staff members were furloughed or laid off, and department heads asked to come up with potential budget cuts. At Monday's meeting, the city's chief financial officer said tax revenue was close to pre-pandemic levels and property taxes were largely undiminished. The primary losses have come in business licensing, much of which the city forgave in an effort to help businesses shut down during part of the year. The concern is that additional federal unemployment benefits, which ran out in August and October, would be the first chance the city has to see how much people have cut their spending. The final budget is due by the end of November. City Council is also considering making changes to its multifamily tax exemption program, which has been used to incentivize builders to create affordable housing in apartments and condos in exchange for 8 to 12 years of property tax write-offs. Since 2011, the city estimates 30 projects have used the exemption, creating $500 million in private investment and more than 2,500 units of housing, a quarter of which qualify as affordable. The primary issue has been that the term affordable is set by calculating the median income for the entire Portland metro area, which is about 30% higher than the average income for Vancouver alone. The city is also considering eliminating the public benefit requirement and charging a $2,000 fee per housing unit to be directed to the city's Affordable Housing Fund. The full council could vote on the plan as soon as November. Well, hard to believe, but the November 3rd general election is just over a month away. Clark County Today is launching a series of stories profiling the candidates seeking public office. On Wednesday evening, the League of Women Voters of Clark County featured candidates for the 17th and 18th legislative districts. Today, we ran a profile of the race for the 17th District Senate seat, which is held by incumbent Linda Wilson, facing off against Democrat Daniel Smith. Now, Wilson said she's running for the same reasons that she ran the first time, to work on public safety and veterans issues, as well as law and order, and to ensure regulations around businesses are not hindering economic growth. Smith, a first-time candidate, has been a social worker for over 20 years, and his wife is a teacher in the Vancouver School District. He said he and his wife have dedicated their professional lives to supporting the community, and if elected, Smith said he would be a voice for local families in Olympia. You can read more about the two candidates checking out our full story at clarkcountytoday.com. Well, Clark College is sticking with remote learning through their winter term that begins January 6th. The school's president, Karen Edwards, said it was a difficult decision because they want to see students back on campus, but they also had to balance the need for public safety, both for students and teachers. Making the decision earlier allows the college to focus on improving their online classes, some of which will have in-person labs and on-campus instruction with masks and social distancing in place, said Edwards. Since last spring, Clark College's enrollment has declined by about 10%, and that could mean a budget hit of around $2 million. An outside firm is working to make recommendations on staffing, but no decisions have been made. To see the full story, click over to clarkcountytoday.com. Well, plans for a ferry between Vancouver and Portland are moving ahead. This week, Friends of Frog Ferry announced efforts to secure public partnerships in hopes of bringing a total of 9 stops to the proposed route from the Columbia up the Willamette River. In an online Zoom open house last night, officials with the group discussed a community benefit plan. The organization has raised around $750,000 and secured $4.1 million in pro bono services over the past 3 years. Those funds have gone in part to conducting several feasibility studies. Now, if this plan is successful, ferry service could open as soon as 2024, with vessels capable of transporting nearly 150 people per ferry. A ferry commute from Vancouver's new waterfront park to Salmon Street in downtown Portland would be just under 45 minutes. That's about 15 minutes faster than other forms of existing transit right now, such as the bus. Now, if you're intrigued, make sure to read the full story at clarkcountytoday.com. And there is your Thursday look at the stories that we're following for you at clarkcountytoday.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to see when stories are posted and be part of the conversation. You can email news, tips, and story ideas to news@clarkcountytoday.com. For all of us, I'm Chris Brown. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back with you again tomorrow.